Morning, people, and on this particular episode, we are talking about the story that is out there that's been reported of this particular man, ZCC man, or a community that recognizes the influence that this church's spirit or whatever is going on over there. So you can read for yourself on this article that they are saying that there's a spirit from this particular church. It's not from my words. This is not from my words. They are saying that this man might have been cursed by a spirit from the church. IOL also had the story on their platform, and you can see I Report SA News actually has the particular article that from which I'm going to be reading from. So they are saying that this man might have heard some type of a spirit that might have caused him to actually go the route of actually having his girlfriend, as they termed her in the article, dead, that actually landed with her passing away. And so that's the story that I wanted to talk to you guys about, and I thought it was worth us spending a little bit of time over there. I am going to read an article, as I stated, from I Report News essay. And so that's the article that I did show you a little bit earlier on. It's the Reality Show. We do daily Christian commentary videos. If it's the first time over here, be sure to check out the other videos that are down in the pinned comment. If it's your first time over here, like the video. It does help it out in the algorithm. It's Ricky. Welcome to this new segment. And so that's what we are talking about. And so I wanted to talk about this particular story so that we can address certain aspects of our life and understand the meanings if we are going all the way, and why the system, the justice system, and all these systems that the world has will never go all the way. I just want to say this as a thought, or plant the thought. Then you can think about it. Tell me what you think about it in the comment section as well. Now, the article says, right, 68-year-old woman was killed in Limpopo, South Africa, after being bitten in the face with a brick by a 35-year-old boyfriend. The article goes on to say these people were in a relationship, an argument ensued, and then this is where it actually landed the two of them. The suspect has since been arrested and charged with murder. This incident took place in the village of Mashashani, right? Mashashani. And the victim, the victim in this particular case was rushed to the hospital but succumbed to her injuries and was pronounced dead on arrival at the hospital. That is unfortunately a very sad aspect of this particular thing, because she has passed on, and because of whatever might have ensued or what might have transpired between the two of them, between these two particular individuals here. Okay? Now, there is an aspect, as I mentioned, of this particular article that I thought was worth our time actually reading into it. As I stated, if we are going to go all the way with that thought line, what is it? In the article it says, the incident took place in the community of Shashane, and some people believe that the suspect had been possessed with an evil spirit. The ZCC Church is a prominent religious organization in Limpopo. Some people believe that the suspect have been influenced by the church's teachings. So in the article, it phrases that people that knew the mandem say the influence, or there was a spirit that is on the mandem that might come from, if you go and you look up the rules and the teachings, the doctrines that are being taught over there, it might actually account for what the mandem actually did. Now, this is not a new thing, It's not a new thing. We have this type of stories of leaders in these churches or members of these churches doing strange things or saying strange things. There was a video we made where a man claimed he was being tormented by the spirit of that church. And so What these people are saying in this article is not far-fetched, it's something we've heard before, okay? But remember what I said. Are we willing to go all the way? There's a reason why I said that. Now, if you actually read forward, it says that some of the people believe that the suspect has been influenced by the church's teachings. However, the police have not confirmed any connection between the suspect and the ZCC. Okay? And they are treating it as a subject of murder. Now, no problem. I don't even know why they phrase it like that, because it's not like if there was, they would actually take that. That's why I'm saying, are we willing to go all the way? If the community that knows the man them say, you know what, he was influenced by this type of teachings, are you going to go over there and look at what teachings we are talking about? Now, can we ask police people to go and do that without asking the individuals themselves to do that? Who are the police? It's you guys. Police are everyday individuals like me and you, right? Of course, when it comes to the hierarchies, the system might change and whatnot. Might find more dodgy people up there, you know? So, but are we willing to go all the way? Because if the police will have to acknowledge that, yes, there was a connection between the teaching or the doctrines of the church that influenced this man, then they would be forced to go all the way with how they treat that. Then the question would be, what is the law's perspective or viewpoint on spiritual subjects? And if we question that aspect, and we are now talking about, if we now talk about an evil spirit in court, okay? If the article says the police have not made a connection between, you know, whether it be the teachings or, if we are asking that the system should look into it, is the system going to go all the way? Because then they would have to speak about the judgment of God and the true judgment of God and true judgment over these particular cases. You know, then the cost for taking a life would mean a little bit more than. It would be more than. Yeah, if we really went all the way. If we went all the way, are we willing to go all the way? That's why I'm asking that question. Because if people are saying the influence might have come from church doctrine, are we asking that the system should review church doctrine? If that's what we are asking, let us ourselves start there. Now, there will be a person who will just hear that and they will dismiss it. But have you looked at church doctrine concerning what the Bible reports on those subject matters? When you guys teach on your observations on viewpoint over your bishop, have you looked at what the Bible says in 1 Corinthians about how you see your leaders? 1 Corinthians chapter number 3 addresses that subject. So if the community of Hamashashana here would love for the police to look over the viewpoint of what he was taught, maybe there are certain aspects of the doctrine over there that are Judgement stuff that would account for the man them behaving the way that he did. But do you know, you who's watching the video, do you know what's there? Do you know what's reported there? Do you know what the teaching is? Do you know what biblical teaching is? If we say that the man was influenced by teaching so and so, we don't recognize it according to the Bible that it leads someone to end up killing another person. If we are saying that, does the average person know what that doctor... Before we expect that the police should make the connection, you know, that part kind of caught my attention. And they say, you know, the police have not made a connection. Even if they saw it, will they go all the way? Because you see, once you make once you make such a judgment of something being evil, wicked, good, right, what you have done there, you have opened to spiritual rule, or you have opened to which means you are open to spiritual judgment. Once we are now talking about spiritual things like demons and evil and evil spirits and whatnot, we are now opening ourselves subject to spiritual judgment. So when we die, when we get into the spiritual, what does that look like? Kaspanyo verse yesterday, when he was on Limpopo's episode, he said when he saw that aspect, he considered that only leads one to hell. You see, once we are open to the fact that there is an evil spirit, we are opening to the thought that there is a spiritual judgment. Because we know that there is consequences. You see, the man them is in jail right now. He's having to go to the court and go with the court system right now so that they can make a judgment over taking human life. So within this plane here, something wrong is done, there is a judgment that we render over that. So then, if there was an evil spirit that influenced the man them, that tells you there is also a spiritual one. What is your viewpoint on what spiritual rule does after we have departed from here? That's where the Christian theology comes in. It says afterlife, God makes a judgment between those that are righteous and unrighteous. And those that are righteous are his sons who have received Jesus. According to John chapter number 1, it says that they have been given the right to be the sons. Why? Because they have been washed by the blood and found innocent in relationship to God. Unlike Abel, they could account for where they stand. When he's asked, where is, can you account? Because a lot of people, before we even account for our brother, they think he had to account for it. Can you account for where you stand? When God comes to you, are you going to be, I'm not my brother's keeper. What was my duty with spiritual things? I was in a physical world. I was hungry. So a lot of people don't see that they are literally going to play the Cain card when they stand before God. No, I was busy, occupied. You saw me starving. I was hungry. I didn't have enough money. You see, the people are literally going to play the Cain card. Because why? There are certain things we have spoken that literally shows we are open to spiritual judgment. It's in our language. It's written in our code. But only when we are there, we'll realize. That's why the Bible says when the law was given, it was given so that it can shut the mouths of every single man. People right now are braggadocious. They are very braggy because their confidence is in themselves. But when we stand before God, that will be lifted. Now, I thought this story was a highlight for that. For us to, when they bring in that aspect of say, there was an evil spirit. The man is going through the legal system. He's having to go through legal system in this physical world because of the act that he has done. So if there was a spiritual aspect that is influenced, that tells you there is another world on the other side. And that world he will have to also account. So we are literally saying that there is another world where we still have to account. We are just getting glimpses of that judgment here and there, here and there. Where do you stand, you, in relation to that other judgment? You are innocent now. You haven't broken any laws. You are a very faithful person according to the laws down here. But what does that look like on the other side? It's the Reality Show with Daily Christian Commentary videos. I thought this was a very good one. So we can if we are saying that there was an evil spirit, if we are saying that there was a spiritual thing that influenced him, and the doctrine of the churches might also have pushed him in that line, we are then implying that there is another world. And if he has done something wrong in this side, on the influence of what is on the spiritual, we are saying that there is a judgment this side, and we are saying that there is a judgment on the other side. If he is to face judgment on the other side, what does yours look like on this side? It's Ricky. Hope this point got to you, and I'll see you later.